So in this video, I'm going to explaining how to use SOH TOA to solve word problems. So the first problem is, you and a friend are standing the same distance from the edge of a canyon. Your friend looks directly across the canyon at a rock. You stand 10 meters from your friend and estimate the angle between your friend and the rock to be 85 degrees. Sketch the situation, explain how to find the distance across the canyon, and suppose the actual angle measure is 87 degrees. How far off is your estimate of the distance? So we'll start off by sketching the situation. So to sketch it, we need to talk about the concrete things we know. So here's a line to represent the distance between you and your friend. Let's say that you're here and your friend is here. We already know that you're 10 meters apart, so we'll write this information. And you think that the angle between you, your friend, and the rock is 85 degrees. And we'll say the rock is somewhere over here. So we're going to show that line. And then to complete the triangle, we'll just make it a line. So how do we get those numbers that tell you the angle measurements? Okay. So we know that since you're directly looking at the rock and the ground is obviously flat, this is a right angle. Sorry. We also know that a triangle's angles add up to 180 degrees. 180 minus the 90 from the right angle equals 90. So we already know that this is 85 degrees. So 85 plus 90 plus whatever this angle is going to be is going to add up to 180. Well, when you solve that equation, you find out it's 5. Now we have enough information to use SOH TOA. We need to choose an angle we'll be looking at the triangle from. I chose 85 degrees because that's where your friend is. This is going to be the opposite side of this angle, see? So we're going to label that there. And then we know automatically that the side across from the right angle is the hypotenuse, so we'll label that too. Since this is the 10 right here is the last side left, we'll just label that adjacent. Okay, so since we know the adjacent and we're trying to find the opposite, this is the adjacent and we're trying to find the distance between you and the rock, we're going to be using tangent, which is opposite over adjacent. Okay, so the equation is the tangent of our chosen angle, which is, if you remember, 85 degrees, is equal to the opposite side. You can use this, represent this as any letter, but I'm using P over the adjacent, which, remember, is 10 meters. So I put tangent of 85 degrees over 1, so you can see that you're multiplying fractions because you're multiplying times 10 on both sides. So do you see that? This would be over indivisible 1, and then it would be 10 times the tangent of 85. And you end up with approximately 114.3 meters. So the distance between you and this canyon is approximately 114.3 meters. But the second part of the problem is, what if this isn't actually 85 degrees, but it's 87 degrees? So we're going to try this out and see the differences. So this is still a right angle. You're still 10 meters apart from your friend, but let's see what else has changed. So we're going to use the same format because we know not much has changed. The 85 is still, well, what was the 85 and is now to 87 is still the chosen angle, so this will be the opposite. This will be the hypotenuse across from the right, and this is the last side left, so it's going to be the tangent, adjacent. So since we know this is 87 degrees, and 87 plus 90 plus x equals 180, that equation ends up with this being 3 degrees. So we still want to find the opposite. And so since we know the adjacent, we're trying to find the opposite, we'll still use tangent, because SOH. So since this is still our chosen side, we'll do the tangent of 87 equal to, and I use x, but like I said, you can use anything to represent opposite side, over 10, which is the adjacent side. Then to get this by itself again, you're going to multiply times 10 over 1 on both sides, and there you have it. It's approximately 190.8 meters, which is a lot different than the original. We thought it was approximately 114.3 meters. So the next problem is a basketball one. It's asking, since the international rules of basketball state the rim of a net should be 3.05 meters above the ground. If your line of sight to the rim is 34 degrees and you are 1.7 meters tall, what is the distance from the rim? Explain your reasoning. And then the questions are, how far are your eyes from the rim? Is the same height of the rim? And what happens to the angle as you move closer to the rim and further from the rim? So first we're going to draw the triangle, as you can see. Here is the rim of the basketball net, and here is where your eyes are. Then you're going to connect these two, and then connect this side, and you're going to make a triangle. This is also a right triangle because the net is straight up and the ground is also straight up, or that your eyesight is also straight up. Then we already knew that where you are looking at this basketball hoop is 34 degrees, so 34 plus 90 plus x equals 180, and you end up with 56 degrees. And the reason that I got 1.35 was that we knew that the angle right here, which we know is 56 degrees, this side, the top of it, the rim of the net, is 3.05 meters above the ground. However, this is not the ground. This is your line of seeing. So, I mean, unless you're laying on the ground, which we know you're standing, this is going to be a lot above the ground. So, we know that you're 1.7 meters tall. So, considering this is the ground, and then this is 1.7, and this is 1.35, then the equation could be 1.7 plus x equals 3.05, and you end up with 1.35 meters. So since we know the meters, since we know the opposite and we're trying to find the adjacent, we're going to use tangent again. Here's my dog thinking about this. And we're going to use the exact same format that we used before because we're still using tangent. Okay, so the angle that we're looking at is 34 degrees. So tan of 34 degrees is equal to 1.35 meters, the opposite over the adjacent. And we're going to represent adjacent with A. So to figure this out, you're going to try to multiply this fraction out by multiplying both sides by A. So you end up with, cross multiplying, like here, A times tangent of 34 equals 1.35. And you want to get the A by itself. So we divide this by the tangent of 34 and divide this side by the tangent of 34 as well. When you have done this, your answer is A is approximately 2 meters. Thanks for watching.